Today topic is when we talk about the stroke, we start from simple how to manage the patient conservatively. This is very important. The second step is TPA, and the third and the last step is endovascular intervention. And the endovascular intervention is the most important step is thrombectomy. This is our NG suite you have already seen in the intervention. The objective of this talk is the basic understanding of endovascular treatment of acute ischemic stroke in emergent large vessel occlusion. When we talk about the emergent, it means we have to protect the patient before development of the whole occlusion of the vessel. It's very simple concept. Very simple. Vessel is occluded. We have to remove the clot and there is restoration of the blood supply. Global burden, everybody knows, is the second leading cause of death, first leading cause of disability. Every 40 seconds, one person gets the stroke, and one death stroke every 2 minutes. 1 in 5 survivors suffer another stroke with 5 years. Stroke is heterogeneous, 87% ischemic, and among 87% ischemic, we have the focus on today, 21% large vessel atherosclerotic and 26% cardioembolic. It means there is the 47% stroke is about large vessel occlusion. As far as ischemic stroke management is concerned, RTPA is now the standard of care in all types of ischemic stroke within 4.5 hours time window. Intra-arterial pharmacological and mechanical thrombolysis is a part of acute ischemic stroke treatment in case of large vessel occlusion. Endovascular treatment in large vessel occlusion beyond 6 hours and up to 24 hours using tissue window instead of, we use time window, but now we are heading towards the tissue window. Preventive, sportive, conservative, palliative, and rehabilitative care is still the mainstay of management, and it can't be underestimated in all types of strokes. First, we talk about the limitations of RTPA. Although LTPA is recommended and introduced in all acute ischemic strokes due to large, medium, or small vessel occlusion, but it has some certain limitation. There is short time window of 4.5 hours, several contraindications, zero recanalization in more than 8 millimeter clot length, effective in short to medium sized vessels. In large vessel occlusion, despite intravascular TPA, 60 to 80% of the patients will die within 90 days of stroke onset or do not regain functional independence. 52% with stroke scale less than 10 will reach stroke scale of 1 after IV TPA, but only 8% with NIS score more than 20%, more than 20 will get this recanalization. Talk about the endovascular therapy using advanced real-time imaging, guide wires, and stent retrievers. Neuro specialists enter the vasculature of the brain and physically remove the offending clot to restore the blood supply, which we call thrombectomy. Neurothrombectomy, actually, when we talk about the brain, we use neurothrombectomy. Endovascular therapy is now the gold standard for large vessel occlusion performed by neurovascular interventionalists. About 20% of acute ischemic stroke patients are eligible for thrombectomy. Thrombectomy, you see, this is the main instrument we use. Stent, we pass into the blood vessel, clot is entrapped, and the clot is removed out of the blood vessel, and the blood supply is restored. Background of intra-arterial intervention is very interesting. About 60 years ago, Sussman and Fitch described intra-arterial treatment of acute carotid occlusion with fibrinolysin. They injected in 1958. In late 1990s, endovascular management of acute stroke experienced exponential progress and development. Recently, the use of intra-arterial devices for clot retrieval and vessel recanalization has revolutionized the neuroendovascular management of acute ischemic stroke. First cerebral angiography was done by Dr. Igaz Muniz. He was a Portuguese neurologist and Nobel Prize laureate in 1927. The first endovascular intervention and cerebral angiography, simple angiography, was done in 1927. This revolutionary technique was introduced before the invention of CT scan. And digital subtraction angiography still remains the gold standard given its triphasic evaluation of arterial, capillary, and venous circulation with high temporal and spatial resolution. This discovery was the first step towards the endovascular treatment of stroke, not only the ischemic, but also for most of the hemorrhagic stroke, for example, AV malformation and aneurysm rupture. He is Dr. Igaz Muniz, who did first cerebral angiography. Endovascular stroke trials up till 2012, early IVTPA thrombectomy trials were done. And 2013, IMS3 synthesis, Mr. Rescue, all stroke were negative. There was a paradigm shift in 2015 when 5 endovascular trials, Mr. Clean, Escape, Extend, Swift, and Revascat, showed promising results for endovascular therapy within 6 hours of last well known. Diffuse 3 and Dawn trials showed the benefit of endovascular therapy in extended time window up to 24 hours. This is the journey of stroke management. We started from intra-arterial fibrinolysis 1999 with the TPA, intra-arterial TPA clot removal, then intra-arterial ultrasonic stimulation of the clot. Then there was the first retrieval device, Mercy, and then multi-Mercy device. And then there was the Penumbra device was introduced. And then the stent retrievers. There was the latest instrument we use. FDA and acute ischemic stroke, as Dr. Arsalan was talking about 35 years ago, TPA was approved in USA, but most of the people present here even have not born at that time. And, and we are still talking about approval of IVTPA and use of IVTPA, but still we are far behind of using even this TPA. And Mercy Retriever obtained approval in August 2004 for cerebral arterial mechanism recanalization. Endovascular intra-arterial chemical thrombolysis was approved in 2005. In 2004, coil retrievers, in 2008, penumbra aspiration devices, and in 2012, stent retrievers were approved by FDA for mechanical thrombectomy. In 2018, FDA approved the use of Trevo clot retriever device for extended time window up to 24 hours after the symptoms onset. Now we talk about the recanalization rate, spontaneous recanalization. There's 14 to 28% resolve the vessel of recanalize. With intravenous thrombolysis, 46.2%, intra-arterial thrombolysis, 63.2%, combined intravenous and intra-arterial thrombolysis, 67.5% recanalization. And with mechanical thrombectomy, we have 83.6% recanalization of the blood vessel in case of large vessel occlusion. Thrombolytic agents which are used in intra-arterial chemical thrombolysis, the first generation agents were the streptokinase and urokinase, which were associated with the hemorrhage systemic as well as intracranial hemorrhages rate was high with these agents. Then the fibrin specific agents, alteplase and recombinant pro-urokinase were introduced, which mostly are used, alteplase we use here. Third generation agents, retiplase and tenecteplase. Tenecteplase has a half-life up to 14 minutes and can be used as a bolus. So tenecteplase can be superior agent to alteplase in future, not only for IV, but also for intra-arterial thrombolysis. Newer agents, we have desmoteplase and microplasmin. Concomitant anticoagulants we use systemically when we use intra-arterial thrombolytic agents, we use systemic heparin, apixaban, and eptifibatide. Important terms and abbreviation we use in case of mechanical thrombectomy. There are the most important thing which must every neurologist, not only neurologist, but every doctor and every common man should be aware of these things. Whenever there is sudden onset of balance problem, vision problem, there is facial droop, arm weakness, leg weakness, speech difficulty, speech difficulty, they must be alert. And the time is very important. Every person knows, and they must be alert and reach the place where the treatment is available. The most important thing in mechanical thrombectomy we're talking about is large vessel occlusion. Our target is to identify acute ischemic stroke due to large vessel occlusion. Large vessel means we have main stem, internal carotid artery, M1, M2 segment, then A1 segment, and basilar artery. It is a very medical emergency that could lead to death or significant disability among the survivors. You know, large vessel occlusion strokes are highly dangerous strokes, and they are causing the more trouble with the patients. Large vessel occlusion defined as occlusion of ICA, as I have told you, 24 to 46% of acute ischemic strokes are due to large vessel occlusion. Large vessel occlusion accounts for about 20% of total stroke volume. It accounts for 60% of severe disability, 90% of stroke mortality, only 10% of internal carotid artery occlusions, and 30% of proximal MC occlusion recanalized after IV RTPA. when to think large vessel occlusion. Now it's very important कि आपको पता हो कि when we think that this is the patient scenario is talking about the large vessel occlusion. Motor weakness plus any one of the cortical signs in anterior circulations, gaze preference, aphasia, inattention, extinction, visual field cut. If any one motor weakness and any one of them cortical signs are present, we think large vessel occlusion. Posterior circulation, large vessel occlusion, consider capturing symptoms of diplopia, vomiting, abnormal eye movement, dysphagia, central vertigo, gait, ataxia, crossed or bilateral motor sensory symptoms, and altered sensorium. There is no ipsilateral. Now, the third important thing for mechanical thrombectomy is stroke, field stroke triage, and stroke severity scales. These are the scale we used in the field for the triaging of the patient, which patient needs IV TPA and which patient is need mechanical thrombectomy. And we have to sort out the patient for rapid actions. We have Cincinnati stroke triage assessment, field assessment, stroke triage, emergency department, Los Angeles motor scale, rapid arterial occlusion. And among them, the most commonly used is National Institute Health Stroke Scale. NIHS was developed to be used in for RTPA trials. Standardized and reproducible scoring system to report stroke severity used to evaluate the severity of a stroke to help determine the appropriate treatment. Total, if there is 1 to 4 points, there is mild stroke, 5 to 15 moderate, 16 to 20 moderate to severe, 21 to 42 severe goal. But stroke scale is not a comprehensive neurological examination score as it's highly biased towards the anterior circulation and left hemispheric stroke. Even patient with stroke scale of 0 may have disability at discharge. So don't rely all on the stroke scale. Just for the triaging the patient, you can use it. This is the items we use for the stroke scaling level of consciousness for 1A and 2 commands and 2 answer the questions: visual, facial palsy, motor weakness, leg weakness, limb ataxia, sensory, best language, dysarthria, extinction, and inattention. Online certification of NIS stroke scales are available. You can go there and study it. Another important thing is aspect score. Aspect score is very important when we talk about mechanical thrombectomy. It is Alberta stroke program early CT score. There are 10 points. When the stroke, there are 10 points: caudate nucleus, head of caudate, internal capsule, lentiform nucleus, M1, M2, M3 things. In cellular cortex, M1, M2, M3, and M4, M5, M6. These are very important points. When the large vessel is occluded and all the CT is normal, there is no one, any one of the point is involved. We say that the Alberta aspect score is 10. 10 means normal CT scan. 9 mean one area is involved. 7 mean 3 areas are involved. जैसे जैसे नंबर कम होता जाएगा उस हिसाब से सीटी की हम सेवेरिटी ऑफ द स्ट्रोक बढ़ती जाएगी और वहीं से अब हम डिसाइड करेंगे कि हमने थ्रोम्बेक्टमी करनी है कि नहीं करनी. This is for the anterior circulation. And this is for the posterior circulation. We give 2 points for midbrain, 2 points for the pons, 1 for cerebellum, 1 for the occipital lobes. This is very important. Modified Rankin scale is used for research and also for the 3-month and 1-year patient outcome after thrombectomy. Even after TPA, we use it. And 0 means no symptom at all, 6 means dead. And 3 is our target. Moderate disability injury, some require some help, but able to walk without the assistance. The 7th point, when we have reached the vessels and we are doing thrombectomy, what are the parameters we say that we are successful? This is called that we measure it with the Tiki scale. Tiki means reperfusion scale. Now use the modified Tiki scale. 0 means no perfusion. 1 means little or slow distal perfusion. 2 is less than 50% perfusion. 2B is more than 50%. And 3 is full perfusion. And these are all here you can see with the help of arrows that first picture and the last picture. There is no perfusion and full perfusion at the end, Tiki 3. Now, brain imaging requirement for the thrombectomy. For patients who meet criteria for endovascular treatment, it is reasonable to proceed. You know, for TPA and early intervention, we need not any CT angiogram. Just on the basis of CT scan, we go for TPA. And when we have to move towards that intervention, we need CT angiogram. Clinical prediction of LVO is imprecise. National stroke scale can miss cases of LVOs, particularly in posterior circulation strokes. No need to wait for creatinine. When we proceed for it, we have, because the time is brain. And you see here is the CT angiogram, and there is occlusion on the left side of the brain. Another thing, when we this CT angiogram is used when we have to follow the time window of 6 hours. Beyond 6 hours, we have to use further. We need perfusion scans. When we go, we can increase the time window up to 24 hours. There's the for patient to meet criteria for endovascular treatment is reasonable to get for the after according to Dawn and perfusion trials, CT perfusion, MRI perfusion scans to select patient with salvageable brain tissue beyond 6 hours. Mismatch between cerebral blood volume and cerebral blood flow or mean transit time. Both trials showed large benefit for thrombectomy. You see, these are the cerebral blood flow and volume and mean transit time, and according to that, there are the areas of the involvement. Goal of thrombectomy to enhance the survival of local ischemic brain tissues, penumbra जिसे हम कहते हैं, and to limit the extent of infarcted brain tissue. Complication and risk factor: hemorrhagic and cerebral infarction. There are ischemic perfusion injury, arterial perforation, periprocedural thrombus formation, parent artery dissection, parent artery occlusion, cerebral vasospan, vessel restenosis, cerebral edema, and death. But death, you don't think that this death may occur because less than 0.1% chances of death are there in this procedure. Stroke unit organized protocol for emergent evaluation of suspected stroke. This designated acute stroke team must be available. Recommended evaluation targets door to needle time 10 minutes, door to stroke team contact 15 minutes, door to CT 25 minutes, door to CT interpretation 45 minutes, door to needle time and IV TPA 45 to 60 minutes, door to angio suite 120 minutes. This is all the triaging the patient when we have talked about the previous triaging of the patient. No, the latest protocol nowadays, this patient comes with acute ischemic stroke, non-contrast CT scan is there, symptoms onset up to 4.5 hours, IV TPA eligibility, yes, IV TPA diye. If there is no eligibility, CTA, clinical and imaging mismatch is there. Stroke scale 6 or more than 6, aspect is 6 or more than 6, LVO with or without good collaterals, we go for thrombectomy. But if there is no clinical imaging mismatch, stroke scale is 6 or more than 6, but aspect is 5 or less than 5, we can't head towards the direct TPA without perfusion scan. So we go for the perfusion scan and diffusion perfusion MRI. Evidence of ischemic penumbra is there, so we go for the mechanical thrombectomy. Recommendation for thrombectomy: IV TPA given in LVO but not effective for the bridging. IV TPA not possible, more than 4.5 hours has been passed, wake up strokes, anticoagulants, recent surgery. Patients should receive endovascular therapy if they meet all the following criteria according to American Stroke Association. Pre-stroke MRS score 0 to 1, acute ischemic stroke receiving intravenous TPA within 4.5 hours of onset, causative occlusion of a large vessel, age 18 or more than 18, stroke scale 6 or more than 6, aspect 6 or
we
more
have
than 6.
1 more minute for this talk, please.
Treatment can be within 6 hours of symptom onset. Door to needle time less than 30 minutes is our target, and workflow is 24 hours of the 7 days a week. Team should be available. And to tube or not, we mostly thrombectomy is done without anesthesia. Poor outcome with anesthesia, details is there of everything, but I have, due to shortage of time, I will go. EVT devices, Mercy Retriever, Penumbra system devices, second generation solitaire flow restoration device, and Prevo Retriever. Thrombectomy procedure overview, these are all the details of thrombectomy. And there is thrombectomy techniques which are available: adapt, balloon guided catheter, stent retriever, aspiration catheter, etc. And when to use what technique? Many technique is useful, but adapt is better, superior than others. First we use adapt, and then we would use stent retriever. And thrombectomy, there is detail of the techniques. You see there is the clot, and with the aspiration catheter, we are lipsing the clot and then we aspirate it with simple with the sucker. And there is balloon assistance, balloon blocks the blood flow, retriever is there, and clot is retrieved by this instrument. And there is the combination of different techniques is there for the better outcome. And tandem occlusion, when there is IC occlusion and there is clot, we first have to angioplasty we done, or angioplasty is done and clot is removed, and after angioplasty we can go for the stenting of the vessel. Direct carotid puncture can also be done in difficult cases. Posterior circulation, now it is also recommended to we can go for it because trials are not available, but we can go for it. And EVT protocol for posterior more or less same, ज़्यादा difference नहीं है. Central retinal artery के अंदर भी हम करते हैं. We trust study the latest advances are going towards direct to angio suite. We have the direct cone beam computed tomography. Patient will come and go direct into the angio suite and everything will be done there. CT angio and CT perfusion, and then come out with all the treatment. Conclusion, we trust that together we can impact the future of stroke treatment. Thank you very much.